Okay, here like you will have the session wise. So if you want, you guys can download from here. Just click on the code, you will have the download option. Click on this download, everything will be downloaded here. So from today, whatever code or whatever paint file or whatever notes I want to upload, I will just push here. You guys can get from here. So I have provided the link on the chat. You guys can. Yeah, so I have added that link on the chat. Okay, you guys can save that link with you. So whenever session finishes, I will just push that code here. Okay, you guys can get the code from here. Yeah. So in last session, we have started with JavaScript, right? We have seen like JavaScript introduction. We have seen the installation of VS Code and Node.js. And we have started the concept called variables in JavaScript. And we have seen the concept like variable declaration, assignment, and variable initialization. These are the topics what we have done in the last session. In today's session, we will start with a new topic, that is data types. So anybody knows what is data type? If you know anything about data type, feel free to express. What is data type? Or what data type represents? Yeah. So basically, data types are inbuilt data structures. Okay. Data types are inbuilt data structures. Basically, data types represent the type or kind of data. Data type represents the type or kind of data. So there are different types of data in our programming language. In our programming language, whatever data we have, they have been categorized into different types. Okay. Few data we are going to consider as one type. Another set of data we are going to consider as another type. Like that, they have some types related to the data. We just need to know what are those different types and which data will come in which category. That is what we want to know. Okay. So basically, there are totally how many data types in JavaScript? Anybody knows? How many data types we have in the JavaScript? So there are totally 8 data types in the JavaScript. And remember, data types will vary programming language to programming language. Data types are not same in all the programming language. Data types will vary from one programming language to another programming language. So when it comes to JavaScript, there are 8 data types in JavaScript. What are those 8 data types means? The first data type is number. The data type name is number. We have one more data type which is string. One more data type which is Boolean. We have something called null. We have something like undefined. Sixth one is symbol. Seventh one is big int. and eighth one is object. These are the 8 data types we have in the JavaScript. Remember, in your interviews, they will ask how many data types we have in JavaScript. We have to say only 8 data types. We have only 8 data types in the JavaScript. We don't have anything like int, float, double, char. That kind of data types are not present in the JavaScript. All those data types comes in the Java language, not in the JavaScript language. When it comes to JavaScript, there are only 8 data types: number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbol, big int, and object. First 7 data types are called primitive types. First 7 data types are called primitive types. They are primitive data types. And there is only one data type which is called non-primitive. That is object. This is non-primitive data type. So what do you mean by primitive and non-primitive data type? Means data type whose value we cannot change. Data types whose value we cannot change. Such type of data types are called primitive data types. Values cannot be changed. Non-primitive data types means the data types whose values can be changed. Values can be changed. All those are called non-primitive data types, and values cannot be changed. Those are called primitive data types. Now, basically, in our programming language, there are a lot of data. Like, we can have the data like any user's ID. We can have user name. We can have user status, whether he got married or not. So we can store that data in the form of true or false. True means user got married. False means user is unmarried. In the same way, we can have the data which is in the form of null, in the form of undefined, or in the form of object. So in our programming language, we can have different types of data. Some data will be in the form of number or in the decimal format. Some data which can be in the form of combination of characters, or it can be the combination of characters plus numbers. Some characters plus some numbers. Some data can be in the form of true or false. Data can be true or it can be false. So any data which is in the form of numbers or decimals, that entire data will come under number type. That data comes under number type. Any data which you are going to mention in double quotes, any data which we are mentioning inside the double quotes, or inside the single quotes, or inside the backticks, something called backticks. Any data which you are representing inside these double quotes or single quotes or backticks, all that kind of data is considered to be a string type of data. They are considered to be a string type of data. Any data which is in the form of true or false, such data we are going to consider as a Boolean value or Boolean type. We are going to consider as a Boolean type. In JavaScript, we have two special values. In JavaScript, there are two special values. And those special values are null and undefined. These are the special values in JavaScript. So the data type of null is a null. Data type of undefined is undefined. It means data type and the value names are same. Value names are same. So any data which is null, they come under null type. Any data which comes under undefined, they are undefined type. So we have some special values, that is null and undefined. And the data type of that special values are null data type is null, undefined data type is undefined. Okay. Now, any data which you are representing in the form of object or something called array or something called date in the format of date, or anything something called regular expression or something called function. Any data which you are representing in this format, all those data are said to be the object type. Now you won't understand what is object, what is array, what is date, what is regular expression, what is function, because we have not explored all this concept. Just for your information, I am saying that there is one data type called object. Anything which comes under this, all are considered to be object. In the same way, we have two more data types. That is symbol and big int. Now, I want you guys to find the answer for these two data types. What type of data comes under symbol? What type of data comes under your big int? This is like your assignment. I just want to know the answer for these two data types in tomorrow's session. So now, to understand these data types, you can explore Google, you can explore YouTube, you can explore ChatGPT, whatever you want to explore, explore. You take the help of your seniors or whatever you want to do, but I want the answer for this too. What type of data is considered as symbol data type? What type of data is considered as big int? I want you guys to find the answer for this. Okay, let's see how many of you guys can find the answer for this. So what is data type? Data type going to represent the type of data. They are going to represent type of data. Any data which is in the form of number or decimal, all those data are considered as a number type. Any data which you will find in double quotes, single quotes, or backticks, such kind of data are considered to be string type of data. They are considered to be a string type of data, and so on. Now, what is the use of these data types? What is the use of these data types? Using these data types, we can perform appropriate logic and we can perform appropriate operation on the information. Now, whenever you have the data, on this data, if you want to perform some operations or if you want to apply some logic, then you will be able to apply only if you have the proper data types. For example, if I have one number type and if I have one string type, now tell me, if I want to add, if I want to do addition, do it make sense? Does it make sense to add number and one string? Does it make any sense to add number and string? No. right? If you want to do addition, then all your data should be in the number type only. Am I right? All the data should be in the number type only. Then only it makes some sense. So this is the only reason why programming language introduced the data type concept. Now, using data type concept, we can recognize what is the type of our data. Once you recognize what is the type of your data, then you can decide what kind of operations you can perform, or what kind of logics you can perform on that data. Okay, this is the only reason why data types got introduced. Now, where we are going to store the data? Where we will store the data in our program? Suppose I have created one JavaScript file. I have 4 students information. There are 4 students. The first student ID is 101. Second student ID is 102. Third student ID is 103. Fourth student ID is 104. Now this entire data I want to store in my program or in my file. Then where we can store this data? Yes. Now to store this data, we need to create the variables. So what I will do, simply I will go to my VS Code. Here I will create one file, something called data type .js. I want to create JavaScript file. Now here inside this JavaScript file, I want to store some data. If you want to store any data, any type of data, it can be number, string, boolean, or null, undefined, or object. It can be any type of data. If you want to store that data, first you have to create the variable. So I'm creating here variable something like this, var username. Now tell me what we will call to this part. What is this? This entire thing, what we are going to call? Yes, it is a variable declaration. We have just created one variable. Are we storing any data inside this variable? Are we storing any data inside this variable? As of now, we are not storing any data inside this variable. If I want to store the data inside this variable, what I need to do? I need to assign the data. Here I am assigning something like this. Something like Ayush Verma. Now, if I ask you, what is the data type you stored in this variable? What will be your answer? What type of data you have stored in this variable? Yes, we have stored string type of data. In the same way, I can create one more variable where something like ID equals to, I'm saying here something like 101. Now what we will call to this entire part? What do you call to this entire one? Yes, it is a initialization, variable initialization. Now if I ask you what type of data I have stored in ID, what type of data you have stored in this ID variable? That is number type. Now I have one more variable here where something like is married. Now here I want to store the data in the form of true or false. Just true or false. I'm saying true. Now if I ask you what type of data I have stored in this is married, then answer is Boolean type. It is the Boolean type. Okay. So variable, and inside that variable we are going to store some type of data. If you know the data type, then you can decide what kind of operation or what kind of logic you can apply on that data. That's it. Okay. So in JavaScript, all your data, whatever data you have in the world, they are categorizing all those data into 8 types: number, boolean, undefined, null, string, like that. Okay, this is what data type concept you have in the JavaScript. Now this is our VS Code. Okay, here you have one option called terminal. Here you have the option called terminal. Click on that terminal. Here you will have one more option called new terminal. Click on new terminal. Now here see, one terminal block has been opened. This is called terminal. Now here you can print your outputs. You can print whatever outputs you want to print. You can print here. This is called terminal. Inside the terminal, we can print the outputs. For example, I want to do here something like this. 5 plus 6. Now 5 plus 6 will generate some result, right? That result I want to print here. I want to print in this terminal. If you want to print any output inside this terminal, then for that JavaScript is giving us one special thing, something called console.log and open parenthesis, close parenthesis. JavaScript is providing us something called console.log, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis, if you pass 5 plus 6, the output of 5 plus 6 will be printed inside your console area. It will be printed inside our console area. Now, how to print it? How to print this result of this console inside our console area? For this, we have to run this file. We have to run this file. If you run this file, this code will get executed. Whenever this code gets executed, the result of this 5 plus 6 will be printed in your terminal. So if you want to execute this code, you have to run this file. How to run this file? For that, you have to open the terminal. And here you have to simply use the command node space your file name. What is your file name? It is a data type. So data type. If I click on enter, this code will get executed. Nothing but this file will run. Now see, here I got 11. So whatever you will write in console.log, that result will be printed here. Now suppose I am writing one more console.log. Inside this, I am passing this variable name, ID. If you pass variable name, then what this console.log will do, it will check what is the data you stored in this variable. That data it will print here. So inside ID, we are storing 101. So 101 will be printed here. So if you want to print it, you have to run this one more time. How to run? Simply we have to say node data type. Now see, you got, I need to save my file. So let me run one more time. Now see, I got 11, I got 101. 11, 101. So whatever you will type inside the console.log, if you pass some expression, that result will be printed. If you pass variable, then that variable value will be printed. Variable value will be printed. So this is how we are going to run our JavaScript file. So here I tried to explain you how to run JavaScript file in the console. In the console. Okay, what is console.log? I will explain you that concept after some time. What is this console.log? You won't understand now. As of now, you just remember, if I use console.log and if I pass some variable name and if I run my file, then the output of that variable will be printed in my console area. It will be printed in my console area. Nothing but it will be printed in your terminal. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. Now suppose I want to print Ayush Verma. I want to print here Ayush Verma. What I need to do? If I want to print Ayush Verma in my terminal, what I need to do? I need to add console.log first. And what is the variable name? It's a username. Pass that username. Save your file and run your file. Now we got here Ayush Verma. Okay. So this is how we are going to use console.log, something called console.log to print the output. Okay. This is the data type concept in the JavaScript. Now we have one more very important concept, that is functions. Functions in JavaScript. Now anybody knows what is the meaning of functions? Or if you know about the function concept in JavaScript. Function concept in JavaScript is very similar to your function concept in C language. You might have learned C language in your college days. So it is very similar to that function concept. Okay, to understand this function concept, let's try to understand first problem. What is the problem and why do we require this function concept? Let's imagine, let's just consider, I want to create a program to add the two numbers. I want to create a program to add two numbers. Okay, I want to implement JavaScript program to add two numbers. Now tell me, if I want to create the program, what I need to do? First of all, I need to create the file. That is the first step. So let me create one JavaScript file. I just created one file called add.js. Inside this file, we want to do addition. We want to do addition. Addition means for that we require two numbers, right? We require two numbers. Like if I want to do addition, I should require one number plus I require one more number. It means I require two information. Information 1, information 2. Now how much information you require in your file? That many variables you have to create. So I am creating here var num1 equals to 10. Var num2 equals to 20. Now I am holding some data like 10 in one variable, 20 in one variable. Now I want to do the addition. So instead of adding with the number like 10 plus 20, what we can do, we can use this variable names. Something like num1 plus num2. You are using num1 plus num2, it means internally you are doing 10 plus 20 only. Now num1 plus num2 will generate some result. It will generate some result. That result I will store in another variable. Now num1 plus num2, whatever it will generate result, that result we are storing in result variable. And here I want to print it. Console.log. Console.log. And here I am saying result. Now I wrote my JavaScript program to add two values, num1, num2, some logic, and finally I am printing it. Now, if you want to see the output, what you need to do, you have to simply run this file. How to run this file? For that, we have to use the command node space your file name. File name is add. Just add. Click on enter. Now see, we got here 30. Now, my requirement is this 30. I want to print 3 times. My output should be like this. As of now, it is printing like this 30, but my output I want like this 30, 30. 3 times I want 30, 30, 30. In this case, what I need to do if I want 3 times here 30, 30, 30. If I want like this 3 times 30, 30, 30, what I need to do? Yes, this statement I need to write 2 more times. Two more times. Now execute it. Now you got here 30, 30, 30. Now suppose I want something like this result. 40, sometimes 50, sometimes 90. Now what you will do? If I want like this result, sometimes 40, second time 50, third time 90. In that case, what we need to do? We have to create more variables where num3. We want 40, right? So I will say here 20. I have to create one more variable, num4 equals to here 30. Or what we want here, 90, right? 90 means maybe I will give here 70. Now we need to write here logic like this. Here I will create var result num plus 1. I will add one more var result 2 equals to num2 plus num3 plus num1. Like this I need to do, or else I just need to take here another value as 3. If I take here 3, then what I can do here? Simply I can say num2 plus num3. I need to take one more var result 3 equals to num3 plus num4. Num3 plus num4. Now you just observe this part. This looks like a similar logic. Only data types, this variable names we are changing. Here we are doing num1 plus num2. What is num1? That is 10 plus 20. 10 plus 20, it will generate 30. Num2, num3. Num2, num3. 20 plus 30, it will generate 50. Then we are doing here num3 plus num4. 70 plus 30, it generates 100, but I want 90, right? So here I need to take num2. Now what you need to do? You have to print all this. Result, here result 2, here result 3. Go back, execute it. You got here 30, 40, 90. It means if you want different values, what you are doing? you are rewriting same kind of logic. Same logic you are rewriting. We are rewriting same logic. This is the same logic, just variable names are changing. This is also same logic, only variable names are changing. This is also same logic, only variable names are changing. So like this, if you want 100 values, then what you need to do? Same logic, you have to write 100 times. So here what we are doing, we are rewriting the logic. Or I can say we are re-implementing. Now, if I rewrite the logic, what is the problem? The problem is number of lines in my file will increase. Now see how many lines we have wrote, nearly 17 lines we have written, including spaces and break lines. So if you rewrite the code, the first problem is number of lines in your program will increase. Second problem is it will take lot of time to develop that program. If you are writing more lines, obviously it will take more time. And if you have more lines, then the performance will be affected. More lines you will write, less performance you will have. Less lines you will have, more performance you will have. So there are a lot of problem in rewriting the code. Instead of rewriting or re-implementing the code, what we need to do, we have to reuse the code. Somehow we have to reuse the code. It means we have to write the code only one time and we can reuse it multiple times. We should be able to reuse it multiple times. Now, how can we reuse the code? Suppose I have written some code here. I have created the file and I have written some code here. Let's assume this code we have written. Now this code I don't want to rewrite. I want to reuse it. Now how can we reuse the code? This is where your function concept comes into picture. Now what is function? Function is a set of code. We can say functions are set of code or instructions or statement. What are functions? Functions are collection of set of code or instruction or statement to do specific action. What are functions? Functions are collection of set of code or instructions or statements to do some specific action. Now that specific action can be anything. It can be addition, it can be subtraction, it can be filtering, it can be sorting, it can be division, it can be any kind of action. Now to do that action, we have to write some set of code or some set of instructions or some set of statements. Now here I have written the code, right? Now all these are called, all this you can call as a set of code, or you can call all this as a instructions, or you call all this as a statements. You can use any term. You can use statement or instruction or code. So what is function? Function is a collection of set of code or instructions. Now how to create function? To create function, we have to follow some syntax. What is that syntax? Syntax is very easy. Simply, you have to start with the function keyword. Then you have to give some function name. Then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, space, open curly brace, close curly brace. This is how we create the function in JavaScript. It's very easy. We have to write function keyword, then some name we have to give, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, then open curly brace, close curly brace. This is how we create the functions in JavaScript. And inside these curly braces, we are going to write our code. Now, this entire thing is called function definition. This entire is called function definition. So let's see how can we create the function. Here I am creating one file, something like add fn.js. Some file I created. Inside this file, I want to create one function. How to create function? Simply write function keyword, space, some name for your function, maybe something like function add, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, space, open curly brace, close curly brace. Now, this is how we create the JavaScript function. Now, inside this, I can write whatever code I want. For example, I am writing var a equals to 10, var b equals to 20. And simply here I am doing console.log. Before that, I will add here var result equals to a plus b. And this result I will pass here. Now this is our function. I have created my function. If you want to execute this function, run your file. Once you run your file, you won't find any output here. See, node add fn. Now see, there is no output. It means this code is not executed. If you want to execute the code which you have written inside the function, inside this function, whatever code you have written, if you want to execute this code, then you have to call this function. You have to call this function. How to call this function? After this curly brace, just function name, and in front of that, add parenthesis. That's it. Open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Here you just need to add open and close parenthesis. This is called function call. Once if you call function, then only this code will execute. Now if I save it, if I execute it, now see, I got result. I got 30. Like this, I can call this function any number of times. I'm calling 3 times. Now 3 times this code will execute. Now we got same result, 30, 30, 30. How many lines of code we are writing? Only 13 lines of code. So what we are doing, this logic, we are not rewriting, we are reusing it, reusing it. This is called reusing. We are just calling this code multiple times. This is called reusing of code. So in your interviews, they will ask, why do we need to create function? Why do we need function? The functions are used for reusability purpose. For reusing my code, we create the function. Whichever code you think that you want to reuse it multiple times, such code you can keep inside the function. And wherever you require, just call that function. Now this is called function call. Function name, in front of that, you have to just add your parenthesis. That's it. Now this is called function call. Suppose I want to create one more function. I can create one more function here. Function something like print name I am saying. That's it. This is function. Function, some function name, whatever name you want to give, you can give. Then open parenthesis, then curly brace and close curly brace. And here, whatever statements you want to write, you can write. Now here I am simply writing console.log, and here I am printing Kabir. Now, if I execute my file, tell me Kabir will be printed in the terminal or not. If I run this file, Kabir will be printed in the terminal or not. What will be your answer? Yes or no? Yeah. Why no? Because we created the function. We defined the function, but we are not calling that function. That is the reason Kabir will not be printed. Now see, only 30, 30, 30 is printed. Kabir is not printed. If you want to print Kabir, then you have to call this function. Save it. Now it will print. Now see, here Kabir got printed. Okay, understood how to create function, what is function definition, and what is function this one function call, and why do we require function? Function call, function definition, and how to create function. You just learn how to create function. What logic we need to write, that we will learn slowly, step by step. Suppose here I want to create the function. How to create function? Function keyword, space, whatever name you want, you can give. For example, I'm giving here sorting. Then open bracket, close bracket, open curly brace, close curly brace. Now this is called function. Inside this function, you can write whatever logic you want. Whatever logic you want. Okay, the area between these curly braces, this area, we are going to call as a function scope. That area we are going to call as a function scope. What is function scope? Function scope is the area in between these curly braces. In between these curly braces. This is the function scope. Is it clear for everyone? What is function? Function scope, function definition, and function call. Okay, still there are so many things that we have to learn related to function. That we will explore in tomorrow's session. So maybe tomorrow's entire session will be on functions only. And remember, function is the most important topic in your entire JavaScript. In your entire JavaScript and React, function is the most important topic. So in case if you are not understanding something or if you are getting confused, feel free to raise your hands or you can ask your doubts. Yeah, Shekhar. React.js, we are going to learn, and at the end, we are going to develop one project. I have 8 years of experience. I will teach entire React concepts. Now it depends upon you how much years of experience you can put. I will give you entire knowledge that I have. If I am able to put 8 years of experience, now you decide how many years of experience you can put. Okay, the duration of this course will be around 40 sessions. And prerequisite for React.js is you should know HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Anyways, I am starting the JavaScript from scratch, so no worry about JavaScript. But I'm expecting HTML and CSS knowledge from you guys. For recorded videos, you guys can just connect with admin people. They will help. As of now, they are adding the videos in YouTube channel. So you just go to YouTube and here you can search for Ashok IT. Okay, if you search for Ashok IT, there is here live tab. Click on this live tab. Here you will find the recorded videos. Okay, see, this is the React JS session 2, yesterday's session. And this is first session, React JS. And at 7:30, I am starting with UI full stack. So you will find the UI full stack session 1. Okay, and we have done with the session 2 also. So you will find session 2 as well. So if you want to go through the demo session of UI full stack, which I have started at 7:30 a.m., then you can go through these videos. Okay, just click on this live tab, then only you will be able to see it. Yeah, 40 sessions including JavaScript. Okay, they have kept the poster name as a React, but basically that is JavaScript sessions, which I am taking. Okay, now I am giving you chance to unmute yourself. If you want to unmute and if you want to ask something, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. In case if you don't have any doubts, yeah, you guys can drop. We can just, join tomorrow and explore next set of topics.
Shekhar here. For this course, I am learning React.js. So after the course completion, I am able to do the tasks for my self-confidence I am getting, and I am placing the experiences.
Yes, you can do any kind
3
of
to 4 years. Is it possible?
See, in React, I will teach you all the concepts. Now, if you already have some kind of experience, you can just explain them that what you have done in React in those 3-4 years. Now, how you are going to cover up those, that you have to think. But concept clearance, how to implement the things, that I am going to explain. Whether he is a fresher or he is a 10 years of experience people. If they want to implement certain tasks in React, they will follow same approach.
Completely, with the including testing also, unit test cases like
unit test cases I am not covering. Okay, I have shared the syllabus. Test cases we are not covering. So let me share that syllabus one more time. So test cases is not part of your React. They are separate libraries which you have to explore. So the course is all about React. Okay, so here we are just going to learn React and maybe some other set of libraries which are required, which are minimum things required. Some libraries which are not required, that you have to learn additionally. Okay, let me go back here. Let me just select. Yeah, I have shared the syllabus. You guys can go through that syllabus. You will just understand exactly what I'm going to cover.
But please share interview questions also.
Yeah, I will be sharing the interview questions as well.
Because I'm preparing after the concept, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, while sharing the notes, I will add interview questions as well. Okay, so that it will be easy for you to prepare.
a project related e-commerce or any
E-commerce or blog. I will select anyone. Okay, in that project, you will use all the React concepts. So you will at least understand how React is used in your real time. If you understand that project, if you are able to implement that project, I am pretty sure that in your companies, you will be able to do any kind of tasks which are related to React, any kind of task. And you won't find any kind of difference in your real time and when it comes to our sessions. So whenever you are working, you will feel like, yes, I have done this kind of things already. This kind of feel you will start getting, because we will do the same thing the way people